I will not leave by lows. I will hold to the cross.
The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation because you are now tuned in to The Blueprint.
Why they actions contradict the lamb. I'm fellowshipping when I'm with the fam. That's more relations, that's foreign and foreign.
Good evening and welcome back to the Blueprint Podcast. Happy holidays. Let me say that first. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. All of it. We're in the time of celebration, and I'm excited about it. This is my favorite time of the year. Is one of the things if I have not many addictions, but if I have an addiction, it's Christmas. I mean, I'm a big Hallmark. If I could talk about Hallmark time. Back in October, every October, Hallmark starts with the countdown to Christmas. And since October, I have already started watching Christmas movies. It's just something about Christmas that about celebration. Also, inside of the celebration, as I said last week, inside of the celebration is it's not always joyous occasions inside the celebration of the holiday or of Christmas. And so inside of the celebration, when Hallmark does its movies from the countdown to Christmas starting in October, every show has some drama. Every show has some suspense. Every show has some time in regards to either someone was lost, a loved one was lost, a loved one was sick. So a part of the celebration, life is a part of the celebration, but I love it. I mean, I love it because, as I said last week, I could literally. I mean, I looked at last year and the years during the course of the pandemic, and one of the things I noticed during the pandemic was that it wasn't very celebration. We weren't celebrating. I mean, there were not a lot of Christmas lights outside in houses, and it was a tough time, and so a lot of people weren't celebrating. People probably lost loved ones, friends. I mean, during the pandemic, and but it was still it is still my favorite time of the year, and it's something that I try to sustain throughout as we enter into 2024. I want to sustain that celebration. I want to sustain that joy. I want to sustain that life. The ability to overcome, to endure, and so I was really excited as I'm walking and driving, seeing more lights up, at houses and the celebration of Christmas. Man, it's just a powerful time for me. And of course, every day everybody comes home and they see me and I'm watching the Hallmark Channel or something like that, and they say, "Oh no, not again." But now, I can go downstairs and it seems like everybody's addicted to Hallmark and the celebration of Christmas, the celebration of Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I mean, it's all about family. I mean, the love of family, the trial and error test of family. And so I want to say happy holidays to you guys. I want to say Merry Christmas. We 8 days away. Tomorrow will be 8 days before Christmas, and I'm looking forward to it. And again, before I get started, I want to say thank you as we come to the close of another year. I want to say thank you, man, for your support of the Blueprint Podcast each and every week. And you know, for all those who just signed on for the first time or somebody told you about it, hey, please don't hesitate to go to Lowe's More the Blueprint on YouTube and subscribe and like. If you're on Lowe's More the Blueprint on Facebook, make sure you like. I will be extremely appreciative. And so let's get rolling. I'm looking forward to my guest this evening. And I want to say to all my guests over the years, man, you guys have blessed my heart. Last week, Buck Williams was awesome. I hadn't seen Buck, man, since I was with the New Jersey Nets. It's been a long time. We reconnected, and man, that was cool. It's cool to see that you can meet somebody and have an experience with somebody, 20 years ago, and that we had bonded and we had become real good friends, and that it's like it never ended when Buck and I reconnected. So again, I want to say thank you to Buck Williams. So let's get rolling here. I want to talk about my book of the week. Now, if you're a part of a church, or no, this is, it says the church mouse, but it was a book I came across when I was a part of the Boys and Girls Club. I used to go to, a couple of times, the Boys and Girls Club annual conference, national conference, was in Orlando, Florida. And it was just amazing. If you've been to, how many of you guys have been to Disneyland or Disney World? It's, man, I always dreamt about going there as a little kid. And going there, man, it fulfilled every fantasy, everything that I thought about Disney or Disney World, man. It fulfilled everything that I had. I'm a lover of Disney, but the amazing thing that I learned, particularly, I was in a seminar or workshop for Disney came and did a seminar at the national conference on hospitality, right? And I believe that Disney is the number one when it comes to hospitality. How clean a place is, right? How courteous and kind people are, right? If there's anybody or any organization that manifests the fruit of the Spirit, which is, it's only one fruit, not fruits. The Bible talks about the fruit of the Spirit, right? And then that fruit of love has many attributes, right? Like joy and peace and kindness, right? All those things come out of love, right? And I think that when you say hospitality at Disney, man, all that stuff, all those things come out. Kindness, integrity, being nice to people, being gentle to people, man. Just amazing experience. And I used to go back to the Boys and Girls Club and talk to my board, talk to my staff, talk to the kids about being hospitable, hospitality, how to be nice when people come in. When the kids come in, man, as a staff person, kids come in, you don't know what they've been going through during the course of the day. So when they walk in the Boys and Girls Club door, right, and on my final speech at the Boys and Girls Club, when they honored me, right, I talked about my first experience coming into walking through the doors of the Boys and Girls Club, and somebody greeting me and saying, man, welcome to the Boys Club, man. Glad to have you here. Would you like to become a member? And then they showed me around the Boys Club, and they took me around, and everybody was just so nice and so courteous. And then when I got my membership, they were still nice, right? But there are certain things that you couldn't do in the Boys Club, right? Like you couldn't curse in the Boys and Girls Club. You couldn't fight in the Boys and Girls Club. You couldn't wear your hat in the Boys and Girls Club, right? You had to be a gentleman in the Boys Club, right? You had to have integrity, right? And you had to have manners and ethics, right? And so all those things, man, I think we kind of lost over the years. But you know, I use this book, The Church Mouse. If we can show that one more time. For any organization, if you want to talk about hospitality, right? And I use this for one of our usher services, stewardship services, and the Church Mouse. Leadership lessons from the Magic Kingdom. Christopher W. Perry, an awesome book, man, how he studied and applied to his church hospitality. It is a blueprint. You know, you on the blueprint, but this is a blueprint for hospitality. I mean, and being a servant. So this is one of my favorite books here. The Church Mouse is not only for just churches, but you can use it in any organization. But I wanted to spend a little time on that. So the next thing is my word. My word of the week is realign. As we go into the new year, right? As we go into the new year, ask yourself a question. Is there a realignment needed? Do I need to realign something? Right? Have I gotten out of order? Or, you know, do I need to come to a stable situation? Has this year caused such fragment, man, that I need to stabilize and realign myself? Realign myself with my goals, realign myself with my visions, my dreams, realign myself, man, as I move into 2024. And that's my word of the week, right? Realignment. Realignment. And then here's my Pierce Hopper affirmation quote moment. John Maxwell, one of my favorite guys too as well, says, change from growth with a timeline to growth without a finish line. Right? We can say, oh, we're going to make it. We're going to do this in this time. Nah, you just need to get to the finish line. Right? You need to start the goal, right? And you need to get to the finish line. Right? And that's the quote of the week. And then here's my music and movie. Next week, you know, we were talking about Hallmark earlier, but next week we'll start watching some of my favorite movies of the holiday. And of course, The Preacher's Wife is going to be one of them. And, you know, this soundtrack, one of the best ever. I had the opportunity to go to the red carpet and go to the opening of The Preacher's Wife back in the day. And then we had a chance to go over to an outstanding, I forgot the name of it, I think it was the Rose down in Manhattan. And all the people that were in the movie were at this celebration. And of course, Whitney Houston, God rest her soul, she was there. She sung all night long, and she invited people to come up and sing. Man, what a celebration, man, it was. And man, this is second to none, man. This soundtrack is second to none, and I truly enjoy it. Hey, pull out your Preacher's Wife movie this week and check that out. And here's my movie or documentary. I'm still watching it. I think I'm at the close to the end of it. Started watching it yesterday. I think it's on Netflix, right? It's on Amazon. It's Amazon. It's an Amazon original. Maxine's Boy, the Tyler Perry story. Man, very, very powerful, man. And how God has blessed him. And there's a lot of lessons. There's a lot of lessons in this documentary, man. You need to check that out, man. You need to support that, right? And as my wife said, man, during that Preacher's Wife celebration, man, Shirley Caesar, man, there's a lot of people there, man. It was awesome night. And but that's my check that documentary out by Tyler Perry on his life. And let me get through these my person of the week, Jamie Foxx. How can we leave out Jamie Foxx, man? We thank God for Jamie. Jamie's a triple threat, man. He can sing, dance, and act, right? And man, everybody remembers him and Ray Charles. And how can we forget the Jamie Foxx show? I mean, how can we get that? So much laughter, so much joy that came out of watching Jamie Foxx, watching him grow and develop and become the person that he is today. So that's my person of the week. And here's some birthdays. I want to say happy birthday to Aunt Joan. It was December the 17th. Man, we love you. Man, God bless you. May you have many more, right? And we celebrate you today. And I want to say happy birthday to Pastor D and Lady Mel. Pastor D is December the 13th and Lady Mel is December the 19th. Man, we love you guys. Man, God bless you. And, man, celebrate your birthday together, man. And then finally, Thais. Man, it was Thais had a beautiful husband, did an amazing job last night. We were at her 50th birthday party. She looks amazing. We had an amazing time last night at her birthday party. She, man, I don't eat a whole lot of food anymore, but man, they had so much food, and the music was amazing, and the people were amazing, and we had a good time last night. So happy birthday, Thais. And next week, the 23rd, we're going to have a special Saturday podcast. It's a Christmas special. We're going to really get into the spirit of this thing. And that's a picture of last night. My wife and I was at the celebration last night. We got a chance to take a picture in front of the Christmas tree. And we're going to sit down and talk about some amazing things that happen during our Christmas times. So I guess without further ado, let's roll on, and I want to show you this little highlight here, and then I'm going to introduce my guest for this evening. Awesome. I want to welcome Dwayne Brown. Yeah, to the Blueprint.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man?
What's up? Good seeing you, man. How
Good.
are you?
I'm good, and you?
Can't complain. Holiday season, gearing up for the holidays, working,
Yeah.
spending time with the family.
I know you have been talking to me about coming on for a while now. And
Yeah, it's an honor. I mean, shoot, it's an honor to be on this show.
Oh man, I appreciate that, and I see you got your Nick stuff on, right? I have to confess, I do like the Knicks. I will always like the Knicks. I will always like all the New York teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while. Then recently they've given us a lot to cheer for. But man, I have to go back to the Knicks when I was a little kid, and I used to, you know, make my game after Willis Reed and Walt Frazier and Dick Barnett, and I mean, and the Knicks winning the 2 championships, I think in 68, 72, 70 or 72, man, and getting that thrill. I thought that at one time Patrick Ewing and the Knicks was going to do it. They had a moment, and I don't know if you was at the Samoya McKenzie dinner. Yeah. When I introduced John, I told him, man, you got me close, man. I mean, you know, and
either one more jump shot or Pat Riley put him on the bench, and it might have been different.
Might have. Yeah, might have. And you know, because I had a moment like that at one time, and I think whether the coach can do the right thing, right? I played against Notre Dame. I was a sophomore, right? And you know, coaches tell you your biorhythms, right? You know, your biorhythms. This is going to be your worst day of the year, right? But we need you to score 40 or 50 points. I was like, you telling me I'm gonna have a bad day, and then you want me to go out and do this? And when the game started, I was a little psyched out. I was ready to go, but I was hyped. I was just so hyped. We was in Notre Dame, and Red Auerbach was the color commentator.
Oh wow!
You know, so you got the hype, Notre Dame, and Red Auerbach. And I mean, I come out the gate like 0 for 7. and the coach did a smart thing. I mean, he did a really smart thing. He took me out the game.
Hey, it works sometimes.
It
works.
He took me out the game. And you know what he said to me? Calm down for a moment.
Yeah.
Right. And then about 2 minutes later, he put me back in the game. And remember the word of the week is what? Realign. Yeah, he realigned me, you know, and I had 40 points that night.
Oh, see, it's not how you start off; it's how you finish.
That's right. Yeah. So I had 40 points that night. Now that's a realignment. You know, somebody stop you and say, "Man, you're going in the wrong direction. You need to realign yourself, man." So the Knicks have realigned themselves.
I mean, to be fair, I do a lot of work for the Knicks, so I have free merchandise everywhere. I don't know if I'm a fan of them because they pay me, but I also get free merchandise, so maybe that's what it is. Like, my closet is full with Knicks stuff.
Oh well, it's good, man.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, hey, look. See, the thing is that people can come from anywhere and become a fan.
Yes.
Right, and you don't have to grow up with the Knicks. You know, I will always be a fan of the Knicks.
Yeah.
You know,
I was Boston growing up. I love Boston growing up. Celtics.
The Boston Celtics?
Yeah. Parrish, Dennis Johnson, Kevin McHale era. And then as I got older, I became more of a Knicks fan because I guess I got a little older.
So you originally from where?
I'm originally from the Bronx, Mount Vernon. I was born in the Bronx and grew up in Mount Vernon.
Okay. Yeah, so I was born in North Carolina and grew up in Mount Vernon. You know, and yeah, I mean, but you know, Bronx is New York too. I mean, you know, so
for some reason I like the Celtics. I couldn't tell you why, but I like the Celtics growing up.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember a gentleman that worked. Well, he was my mentor at the Boys and Girls Club. James Jones. I don't know if you remember James Jones. He used to be security.
Yeah, of course. Mr. Jones, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Jones. So Mr. Jones, when I was a little kid, when I first started playing, he was an avid. You know, I was an avid Knicks fan, right? He was an avid Celtic fan, right? So
that was a battle.
Yeah, everything he did was off of Red Auerbach.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. I mean, we went again. You can't do none of this stuff anymore, right? But you know, get to the third quarter and we blowing somebody out by 25, 30 points. He lights up a cigar. You know, Red Auerbach used to light up a cigar. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, you know, I thought I was literally. I spoke to Red Auerbach after the Notre Dame game, man. He said, "Man, I really love your game, man. You know, if you around, man, I'm thinking about." And I was always in my mind, I wanted to play for the Knicks. But I heard what Red said. He's like, man, if you around, man, I'm gonna draft you, man.
Yeah.
You know, and then everybody was like, man, you're gonna go to Boston, man. You know, and I knew Boston took care of their players. That's the one thing they did, black or white. Boston took care of their players. I mean, all of their players, black and white, they took care. You know, they took care of their players. So I get it. I get it. I mean, you know.
But now today, I'm a Knicks fan. The Knicks is my team.
Okay. All right. All right. You know, and I become not a team fan. I become an individual fan. I just like great players, you know.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I like Steph, you know, like LeBron, you know, and you know, nice. I seen that one of the slides I have. I think we could show that on the Knicks. You did a setup for the Knicks. Yeah. I think we got a couple of pictures of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we can show them real quick before we get rolling here. Are we gonna show them?
Almost close.
That was close. That wasn't the Knicks though. It says the Knicks in the caption. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. So I didn't know you worked with the Knicks, but that's nice though. When I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's nice. That's real nice, man. Yeah.
It's you know, coming up through. I've been grinding for a long time, so I get to meet a few people and, you know, work my way up patiently, and, you know, I get, you know, great opportunities, and the Knicks is one of them. I mean, who wouldn't want to be at the Garden? When you're at the Garden when no one's in there, that's special. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt, man. You know, shoot, I was at the Garden when I was a little kid. You know, we went down to see Nate Tiny Archibald play, right? And you know, they sat us like in the rafters, you know, like, you know, Tiny was really tiny, you know what I mean? Like Tiny was like about that big, man. But we were in the Garden, man. I mean, you know, it's nothing like it in the world being in the Garden. You know?
No, I was there last week. Last week Wednesday for a Ranger event that I had to do, and even watching hockey, everything about the Garden is a special place. You can just feel it. As soon as you get off the train, it's like I'm at the Garden.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's so special. I mean, every player. I mean, hockey. Every person, actor. I mean, every athlete. They know, man. When they get in the Garden, man, it's just a spirit about the Garden. You know, all the amazing events that happen at the Garden, concerts, boxing matches. It's just something magical about the Garden.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And so as we go forward, I want to start with Rojay's. Because, you know, when I was reading some stuff on you, I was like, Rojay's. I remember Rojay's, man. I mean, because that's where, you know, if you wanted to get something for a party.
That's where you went.
Yeah. What's the thing that's called Party City now? Is it?
Rojay's preceded Party City. Or Party City preceded Rojay's. Rojay's was before Party City.
Yeah. So you started out there. I mean, in terms of, you know.
Well, when I look back on my life, I like, you know, God has a very way of making things happen, and sometimes I worked in A&P in Fleetwood when I was in high school. I worked at country clubs a little after high school when I graduated, Valley Park, learned how to set tables. And then I got to Rojay's about when I was 21. And from there, you know, I worked in Rojay's for about 2 years, learned the party business. I left to open my own business. It wasn't the smartest thing, wasn't the best thing to do, to apply ego. And it seemed easier to open my own thing because I was working under somebody else. So it's always easier when you're on somebody else's dollar. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But think about it. If we go back for a little bit, think about growing up, man. Talk a little bit about growing up and how you got to that point. I mean, you know, because most people, I think the question is, we grow up and we have dreams, and then everybody's giving us, suggestions. I mean, you're gonna grow up, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna go vocational. What are you gonna do? And so, take us through growing up with mom, dad, growing up with family. Take us through that part of it, and think is, because I think one of the most important or three questions that we have in terms of the blueprint when we talk about a blueprint, if we're going to be successful, is family, faith, education. So, go back and talk, how that impacted your life.
My mother, immigrant from Jamaica, I'm first generation America from my, moms. I didn't grow up, never knew my dad, so my mom's was single moms. She got married later on in life, but it was me, my mom's, and my brother. Growing up, she moved to Mount Vernon from the Bronx. I was born in a hospital 2 blocks from Yankee Stadium, 167. The hospital's not there no more. So I grew up on 167th and Shakespeare in the Bronx, right down the block from Yankee Stadium. And she moved to Mount Vernon. And when I got older and I asked her why, she just felt the real estate agent presented a better option for a single mother with 2 young boys to maneuver. Mount Vernon presented that to her, the agent. So good job on the agent part to get that out to my mother, that she was raising 2 single boys, as a single mother, 2 young boys in a community like Mount Vernon. So we moved here when I was 5. I went to all the public schools. I went to Longfellow. I went to my public school people. Oh man! So I don't know if they signed off on that shot. I went to wow, you got me there. Whoa! I went to Longfellow. I went to Davis when we had Davis, Franco, and then I graduated from Mount Vernon High School. And growing up in Mount Vernon has always been if you look, as I got older and looking back, I had a pretty good childhood. I mean, I had resources. I had everything I needed. I used to attend the Boys and Girls Club. Rest in peace, Ms. Brown. I'm sure we could connect on that later. But she was very influential in my life and saving me and helping me because as a kid, like I said, I didn't grow up with my biological father, and things bothered me, but I didn't know what was bothering me till much later when I got married, had kids, and I realized, oh, that what was wrong with me when I was younger. But other than that, I look back, I had a pretty good childhood. I had everything I needed. Like I said, I think our school system is great. It was fair to me. I got out of it what I put in it. If I did my work, I got the rewards. If I didn't do my work, I got what was handed to me. So, to me, I had a very good childhood growing up in the city. A lot of love, a lot of support, a lot of, I've known you half my life coming to the Boys and I didn't even know you was that big of an NBA star till I got older because you moved with such regular grace. It didn't, you treated everybody the same. It wasn't, I've been here, I've been there. So I've always had that love and a respect for the city of Mount Vernon.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we all have that for Mount Vernon. I mean, every person that I reconnect with, every person that I met. It was interesting yesterday. My son, Lowe's the Third, they went up for an alumni event at Rye Country Day. He spent 3 years of his high school at Rye Country Day because at the time Mount Vernon didn't offer any longer. They didn't offer the arts and music. Remember they had they kind of stalled and stopped having those things, and he was kind of gifted in that area, and he went back for an alumni event, and it was interesting as he said his name and people Lowe's. Oh yeah, you know Lowe's Moore. Yeah, that's my dad. So we went to the reception after they were supposed to play this little basketball game, and they had a hockey game and all that. So we're in there, and this gentleman comes up, the white gentleman comes up, and he says, "Oh, you from Mount Vernon?" And so he starts like, "Yo, Mount Vernon connection. So he started talking about where he grew up. He said, "Where did you grow up?" And I said, "I grew up on 70 West Third Street." I mean, all those things. Mount Vernon is just a very special place. I don't know that the people who live here now,
Yeah.
really understand how special of a place Mount Vernon is. Because and people have a real passion for Mount Vernon, and I hate to hear other words after that, or what Mount Vernon used to be, or Mount Vernon has the potential to be. You know what I'm saying, when people say that to you, and you're like, yeah, we moving, but
I mean,
it's
the amount of greatness that came out of the city, it speaks for itself in every sports, science, law, business. I mean, the city has a wealth of people that they just aren't celebrated enough, and we don't talk about them enough. You know what I mean? So other people don't get a chance to really. I mean, they talk about the celebrities is easy, but I know so many doctors, lawyers, like it's just business people that run and came from Mount Vernon that really have an impact on the world.
yeah, definitely. And having somebody who would take the challenge and reaching out to those alumnus and trying to get them back, because remembering the history, and because if you don't know where you've been, you have no idea where you
Where you
are,
going? Yeah.
and then you don't have any idea where you're going. So having pictures and stories and books about people who've come out of Mount Vernon, who've gone on to be successful in business, in sports, into entertainment. I think it would be a blessing for the kids. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, but the first time I went into the boys' club, right? They had banners up. I don't know if you remember when they had the banners up, but I'm first day walking, I look up and I was like, oh, what's that? And had the banners up and the names of the person and when they went to the club and where they went to college at.
I don't remember that, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a college banner, and they were all around the whole lobby. It was like hundreds of them around the lobby. And then when I finally joined, every day I wanted to go to a different college. I don't want to go there. I want to go here, but it gave me, to look at the alumni or alumnus that went to the club. I think when somebody walked into Mount Vernon High School, right, other than just the athletes, be able to look and say, oh, they went, because you can go to the Hall of Fame thing is crazy. They stopped that.
Yeah. They just reopened it up. So, but there's so many people that belong in there.
Yeah. I mean, but I used to look when I used to see Dick Carney or, some of the other doctors or lawyers. I was inspired by that, Yeah. So I think that we need to recall all those things, and our kids need to see the people that have gone on to be successful and still successful today.
I mean, one of the greatest things I tell, if a kid sit in those seats and see someone like us across from them, we leave them with little excuse on whether they can make it because we sat in those same seats. You know what I mean? So we're not talking from a point of we're from a different community and we're coming in to help you. We're saying we're from here. Look what we've done with all the mistakes, so you could do the same thing. So I think bringing people that's from that went to those schools back in those schools to talk to kids or show kids it's kind of like it puts them on Front Street. They can't make an excuse when they're in front of you of why they're not making it because we had those same roadblocks and we overcame.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so when you were in high school, right? Talk a little bit about what were you thinking in terms of what was your dream when you were in high school?
I wanted to play for the Yankees. I mean, I wanted to play football. I wanted to do sports.
But did you play? You played sports in high school?
Yeah, I mean, I was a starting varsity football player from a sophomore. So
Okay.
I had the talent. I just didn't have the discipline or the sports is more than talent, as you know. I had natural talent, but I didn't have the discipline to take me to the next level in sports. I football season would start in August, and I pick up a ball in August, and I'm starting. So it didn't correlate that I needed to put in more work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I just didn't have good mentorship in sports to really get me over the hump. My mother was a single mother; she didn't understand sports, and so I didn't have a person at home that was drilling me into being a better athlete, not just a talented athlete.
Yeah. So going through, what were you thinking about? I know you want to do, but you want to do the athletic side of it, the sports side of it. But what ended up happening?
Life. I
He
didn't,
said, like,
I didn't, I didn't apply myself in the proper way for me to go to school as an athlete. And then, you can't fool yourself. You can't be a so-so high school student and then think naturally you're going to be this great college student. Being a great student starts at an earlier age. It's hard to turn it off and on. And I just didn't put myself in a great position. So, um, after high school, I was just lost. Didn't have a true uh, map to what I was going to do. So, I had my daughter right out of high school, and I knew I didn't want to not be a father to her. Like I didn't have one, so I kind of like just went to work from there.
yeah. And then you started with the jobs and so forth
Yeah.
and so on. And then what? How did it come up? How did you come up with now? To get into this area of entrepreneurship, ownership, and how did that come about?
I was so like I said, I had my daughter, needed a job, so I got lucky and worked at a party store, Rojay Party Store. But the one I worked at was in Greenburg, in the Greenburg Shopping Center on Terrytown Road, and so that was our headquarters. The one in Mount Vernon was the second store, the satellite store.
Right.
The one in Greenburg was the main store. So I worked in Rojay's for about 2.5 years, learning everything about the party business. Um, And after that, I just, me and the owner I was young. Didn't see eye to eye about something, and I left to go open my own business. Thought I could run my own business, and I left in 1999, and I left to start on my own, and I've been doing this since 1999.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, what did you what did you do? I mean, because I now that I went through some training and stuff like that on entrepreneurship and stuff like that. A lot of times we don't know, and you know what it is. What's so weird is that you can talk about everything, and when it comes to education, right? You're in the school system, right? There's one thing that's never mentioned. They mention going on to college, higher education, which is great. They mention, okay, well, if you can't make it in higher education like that, you can go into vocation,
Hmm.
right? But they don't necessarily mention, right? Because it's always, I'm going to work for somebody, right? They never mention entrepreneurship. They never mention ownership and what that looks like, So, I mean, yeah, talk about like how, you know, the ups and downs of it because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are looking to do this, you know, and
So there's a couple of things about one. I like I said, I'm very transparent on life and what happens because I think entrepreneurship is overblown and over discussed and not discussed in real time and form now. It's more of a popular thing to do. Listen, I started when I quit. I left the job and I quit. I was running the store and I thought that I can do it on my own. It wasn't a great decision. I should have never quit. I should have, even though years later it worked out for me, I shouldn't have quit the time I quit. I should have. But it's also unethical to be in someone else's business and doing on your own thing, doing the same business. So there's some kind of ethics in that too, right? So I left and did my own thing. No, it wasn't easy. For the first, I left at 22, and I didn't feel good about myself as a businessman and confident until I was 31, and I met my wife, and who's a lawyer, and she was able to help me set things up that I wasn't doing well. But those from 22 to 30, I was just learning, ups and downs. Um, and just when I started entrepreneurship, it wasn't fancy, right? I heard you're lazy, you just don't want a job, you're dreaming, who are you? You know, all the now and then I tell people entrepreneurship is the only thing you can tell a person and they try to talk you out of it. If you tell somebody you're trying to be a doctor, they give you all the reasons you can be a doctor. Oh, if you go to this law school, if you go to this, if you go to this, you want to be a carpenter, they point you in that. Once you tell somebody you want to be an entrepreneur, they tell you all the reasons why you're gonna fail. Right? So you gotta battle that. And you got to be strong-minded and you can't be mad at people because they mean well for you. And if someone has never gone through something, then they just going off of their experience of what they've seen, all the horror stories and all that kind of stuff. But entrepreneurship is tough, man. It's a lonely place. Um, and without a good team, it's hard. I have a great team at this point. Like I said, I married an attorney. I have 3 businesses. I don't know what the lease look like on no business I have because she handles all that. But if I didn't have her, I wouldn't have been as successful as I have. So it's entrepreneurship is not it's something you just gotta live. You know what I mean? I can't tell a person. 'Cause I tell people all the time. They say, Dwayne, why don't you give classes on business? I say, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tell you to marry a lawyer. It doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So, yes, I'm successful. I work my butt off to get where I am. But the fact that she's a lawyer in business, it helps our company out tremendously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, um, it's just a battle. And anybody who want to be an entrepreneur, do it because you want to be an entrepreneur. Don't do it because of what you think, the money, the greatness. I mean, I sacrificed. I left my house Friday morning, and my kids haven't seen me until 2 hours ago. And that's their lifestyle on the weekends. They know daddy's not around on the weekends, but we Monday through Friday we have a different lifestyle. The Monday's like my Saturday. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So there's a lot and that's the business I have. I can't speak for every entrepreneurship business, but know your business and go after it. But go after it because you want to do it, not because you think it's an easy way out or it's an easy way to success, because it's not.
Right. And I want to bring up something because a couple of weeks ago I was last month I had a meeting. I'm the chairperson of the King Movement in King Movement Westchester, and I'm always trying to motivate men, and I got intrigued by something that Dr. Miles Monroe shared on why men need a vision, right? And he wasn't putting down women, right? But he, in his book, Understanding the Power and Purpose of a Man, Understanding the Power and Purpose of a Woman, right, is that he was saying that in order that men need a vision, right? And then your wife is your helpmeet, right? She comes to help, right? And you have certain uniqueness about you, and she has certain uniqueness about her. She has things that she possesses, and you have things you possess. Well, we're very logical, and so he said, if you have a vision and you have a wife, right? Your wife is like an incubator. I was letting my wife listen to this one time when we was walking. He said, if you give a woman a word, if you give a woman a word, she'll give you a sentence, right? If you give her a sentence, she'll give you a paragraph. If you give her a paragraph, she'll give you a book, right? I mean, because there's things that my wife, in terms of multitasking, she can do. But if you don't have a vision, right, then she can't help you.
Yeah.
Now that you understand what I'm saying? So.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. After from 22 to 30, like I said, I had a vision and I knew I can do it, but I was just lacking something. And it's hard. it's hard to get mad at people that's going through the same thing you going through. So I had a, for my daughters, I had a rough um upbringing when my first daughter. I got a transparency. I have a daughter who's 28. Me and her mother sometimes was bumping head when we was younger. But when I look back on her life, she was missing the same things I was missing. So how can she know how to treat me if she didn't have the person treating her correct? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hmm.
So, and same thing in business. I was trying to do business with certain people, but if they never done business, how can they know how to do business with me? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think earlier um, I knew I had a vision. I just had to get it right and get the right people around me. And it's nothing against people or nothing against, but you just need the right people around you to make it work. And my wife, Renee, was the right person for me to take the business to where it is today.
That's awesome. And that's the thing about partnership, collaboration.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about marriage, right? It's a partnership. It's a collaboration, man. Talk a little bit about your wife, a little bit more about your wife and family.
We have 4 kids. I mean, we have three together. We've been married for 18 years. 15 years. We've been together for 18 years. Renee is a great woman. She's an attorney. She's taught. She's a professor, business professor, it's law professor. Um, Family person, and she's the secret. I don't want to say secret, but she's the machine that help us grow and help us move along. You know what I mean? She's very family oriented, and she puts us in position to win every day. I give her a lot of credit. I mean, I've seen Renee uh, go to court for immigration in the morning, breastfeed her daughter, doing hair, and then leaving to help me do balloons all in one day. I've seen her do like 4 different things in one day that I know I barely can do once. So I give her a lot of credit to who she is and the individual she is.
Yeah, I think they allow us to be us.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and that
Yeah.
I allow her because believe me, it was she had so for America, she had just finished law school from Michigan, and we met at City Hall in the mayor's conference room working on Ben Gordon Day. So maybe you had some. If you didn't open a gym for Ben, he wouldn't have made it to the NBA, and I would have never met Renee. So you see how. So I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
say thank you for helping me meeting my wife. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have met my wife. You know what I mean? So it's the process in life. Everything happens for a reason. So yeah, I met Renee on Ben Gordon Day working on Ben Gordon Day, and she was volunteering, I was volunteering, and boom, that's where we met. So, but she taught me humbleness. She just graduated law school. I'm this struggling business person. I didn't have all my ducks in a row, still making it. And she saw past that and saw the potential in what we can be together. And because trust me, even from family standpoint, when I first, oh, Dwayne, she's a lawyer, make sure it is, oh, you hear it, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what I mean? So, I give her credit so now I got daughters, right? So when they dating somebody, I got to look past the guy, right? I got to look past and give him the same, because you can't want something somebody gave you and don't return it to other people, right? So as my oldest daughter date, I give her her marks, but I'm also can say somebody saw that I'm gonna get to a potential and gave me a chance, so I'm gonna return the favor and teach them to be a little more humble and don't judge a book by its cover.
Well, yeah, I think you most of all you want somebody who has some integrity,
Yeah,
that's going to work hard, right, and going somewhere. I mean, I remember telling my daughters, my wife and I was telling our daughters as they were growing up, I said, yeah, we know you at this age where you want, you know, you see guys and now they become a thing, but the first thing is where you're going. You already know you're going to college, and you kind of got an idea what you want to do. The question is what you need to find out is what they want to do,
yeah, yeah.
right? So, and you can tell that by if they asking you, telling you all this stuff, ask them for their report card, right? Can I see your report card? Because your report card will tell you. It's a strange question. to ask the guy. But man, the guy gonna just step off, man, and because like if he ain't gonna give you the report card, he hiding something, you know.
Oh,
And,
so I
and
was your daughter was not dating me in high school then, 'cause I was off their list.
oh no, but again, sometimes what happens is that you make a person, if they really want that relationship,
You step up.
yeah, you say, oh, that if that's what it's gonna take, right? And then they go back, they go and do it. You know, I didn't have all my ducks, you know, in a row, and I had to work hard. I mean, it
I mean, I
wasn't,
still work hard. Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't easy for me to be a student, you know. So whereas people could pick up a book and do their thing, you know, I had to do that over and over and over and over again until I got that, you know. And then once I got it, I got it. But you know, yeah, I wasn't the perfect person, but I wanted to be successful.
Yeah, that I wanted, and I knew I had it in me. I wanted to be successful, so I met Renee, and then we just we clicked. I got my stuff together somewhat. I think I'm on my maybe a B plus game now. I think after COVID, COVID changed my life tremendously, um, in the sense that there was this week where my whole family, when COVID first came out, we all caught COVID. So it was the height of things, not now where you like brushed it off a little bit, but at the height. And the whole house had COVID, and I'm just looking at and like everybody like, is one of us gonna make it this week? Because it was at that point where it was real, and I'm like, can I take care of these kids without my wife? And did I leave my wife in a good position if I'm not here next week? And I honestly could find myself saying no, I didn't. I knew I wasn't giving him. So I think after Corona really, really, and then Corona changes because we just opened up Double Door in October, and Corona came in March. So it was just a tough time for us mentally. Um, for me, mostly every time I took a step forward, something was like I ran a nightclub in the city, 9/11. I opened up Double Door, COVID. So I was just questioning everything, and just it was a tough time. But I said if I come out of it, I'm gonna be a better husband, a better father, and a better businessman, because I just realized I wasn't giving it my all, or that my kids wasn't getting the best of me prior to COVID.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because my movie or documentary of the week, when I was watching Tyler Perry, the documentary on Amazon Prime, and he was talking about that same thing about what he wanted to do, and he was doing those plays, and nobody was showing up, you know, and he was just about to give up. He's like, when somebody said, I want you to do this show one more time,
Hmm.
and he got him the place and everything, man, he did one more time, man. He said, man, Lord, after this, I'm out of this business, you know, like that. And then when he went out there and it was sold out, right? Because sometimes you right on the brink of success.
Yeah.
You right there at the door, you knocking, right? And a lot of people give up right there, you know. And yeah, and things come along. I don't think you could ever be successful without a test.
No, no, I don't think so. I think you have to go through things to understand yourself, how to come out of it, and build yourself back up. I mean, we're athletes, and athletes are, even though I consider myself, I run my business as if it's a sports team. So, I really do, I really do. But, athletes, you have to. I tell people the greatest accomplishment I have in high school, or what taught me the most, is watching yourself fail on tape and going back out there and play again. There's nothing more humbling than that, and there's nothing more get up after you played on Sunday football, you watch the tape on Monday, and you go out there when your whole teammate know you failed, when you know you failed, you seen yourself fail, but you go back out there and practice again. And that's the ultimate. That's the number one thing I get out of sports is the ability to fail but get back up.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about go through. You said three businesses. Go through the progression. You started with this one, the name of it, 1, 2, 3, and what they are. And
So we started out with D&K Events. I had D&K Events before I met Renee. So D&K Events is a event planning business where we organize events, the balloons, the flowers, everything for event, photo, video, plan events from A to Z. I've been doing that since I was 21. Um, we did that. Then Renee met me, and then Renee joined the business, and uh, we've been doing event planning. Renee Law Firm is another business. I help manage and help with her law firm doing certain things. Not too much law, but more the marketing. But that's our company business. And then recently for the last 4 years, we opened up our own venue in Mount Vernon called Double Door Events on 29 Elm Space. It's a 10,000 square foot venue. We host baby showers, birthday parties, all kind of events. And then recently we opened up our own printing business. Um, but that's, our printing business falls in our D&K business. It's a different business, but it falls into a line of business, in a line of business. So, I mean, it's four different business, but it's the same business to us because D&K is an event planning business. Double Door is a venue. Renee doing law. We're doing law for our business, and we print for our business. So even though it's four different business, we're able to run them simultaneously because they all kind of like mirror each other.
yeah, they're always talking about you should have multiple multiple sources of income,
Yeah.
right? You just can't rely on one. You got to have everything. So you falling on each other and you partner and
Yeah.
you development. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And what do you? Because you heard me speak earlier about the church mouse, the book on the church mouse, and around hospitality.
I think it's the most important thing. It's funny when you're saying that. I mean, we have a saying in the building. We are Disney. I want people to feel like they're in Disney World when they come to Double Door or any events I do. We try to tell employees leave your issues at home. Treat customers happy. When you're in event planning business, it's you. No one hires you to be sad, to be blue. Even at funerals, they would count on you to make them happy. So I'm in the happy, making people happy in business. So yeah, I believe in that 100%. I have a downfall because I have a serious face. So people say, "Oh, I look mean" when I'm just concentrating on a lot of things, and they take it as me being mean. But I hear it all the time, Dwayne, or I'm tired, or I have a serious face. But I'm a leader, so my mind is always thinking about what's next. So, but yeah, I believe in hospitality. You have to treat people. Well, even if I wasn't in the event space business, I believe in treating people right. But in the event space business, is my number one rule is to when people come in this door, they come in to feel happy, not to deal with none of our problems, and not to deal with our attitude.
Yeah, and I think you in the hospitality business. I mean, I love. My wife would tell you I love going to hotels, especially they start new hotels and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I love going there. I mean, I just love the ambiance. I mean, there go the balloon. You was talking about the balloons and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, because I remember if I go back in the day and I say Dwayne Brown, I was like, yo, that's the guy to do the balloons, right? Yeah, because you could do amazing things with those balloons, man. And I love color, So, when you're looking at all these different things that you're doing, the Barbie, one of my favorite ones, because I'm a big Disney guy. So, when you did the Mermaid,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that we
yeah,
got
yeah,
the, yeah, that was hot. I mean,
yeah.
and where the double doors. Trish had showed it earlier with the double doors and the balloons around it, and it almost looked like you in the water. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's all
we
cool.
transformed that room. I mean, just this week alone, we transformed it 5 times already since Thursday.
Wow. Yeah.
In the last 48 hours, I worked on 5 events: two Sweet 16s, 21st birthday party, a baby shower, and a first birthday party. And then the thing for me, I tell people that um, I have to hit 100 for 100. You know what I mean? And that's not easy. Mentally, emotionally, I'm drained on a Sunday night because I'm emotionally drained because I have to be at my best every day because I can't bring back people baby showers, sweet 16. You're only going to be 16 once. I had a girl, we had a sweet 16 at Sonata Hotel last night. I mean, she's only going to be 16 once, so she doesn't want to hear anything from me. And her party was the last party of the night, so I can't go to her and be like, "Well, the other 3 parties went great." You know what I mean? like, so, you know what I mean? So it's a tough business because, and I tell my staff, I said, if you need a pat on your back, event planning may not be the business for you because I have to move on. I have to move on fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Like, so when you do multiple events, and I've done major, like I've done the mayor's inaugural ball or the mayor's first swearing in, history making event. And I had a Sweet 16 after her event, and that girl can care less about what I did for the mayor 2 hours ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's know the business you're getting into and know what comes with that business, and making sure I can't bring back memories, man. So I take it serious, so serious, man.
Oh no, you be serious.
Yeah.
I when I see you sometime, I say, man, Dwayne must be in full concentration here.
Yeah, and people don't know because it's like it's so many moving parts within it, and I don't want to be the one because I'm not saying I'm 100. I know I've been doing it for like 20 years, Mr. Lowe. I can't tell you what event went right, but I can tell you all the events that went bad.
Mm.
And I'm talking about 10 years ago, and I still feel them. It still bothers me. You know what I mean? Not, it bothers me because and it ain't go catastrophe, but I don't want one thing to go wrong. Because when a person asks you to be a part of their special moment, I don't take that lightly. So my brain is always moving and how to protect the customer feelings and how to protect my brand. I don't want to be known for a guy who can't come through, who can't perform.
Right. Yeah. And I remember that that's so important, man, because some people just don't care. Long as they keep getting a dollar, long as they keep getting their bottom line, and people don't care. I mean, that's kind of world we live in. But
Nah.
I mean, one thing bothered me. I was coaching some AAU 12-year-old. I think it was 12-year-old, and I had about 12 guys, and a father brought in a kid out of the Bronx, pretty tall kid, looked like a nice kid, and I had created a traveling team and then a local team.
Mm-hmm.
These are the guys that are gonna play local, and it was one kid, man, that I made a mistake on. I always remember
Mm-hmm.
I made a mistake on. And he needed the kid. He was a kid that needed to be on the traveling team. I mean,
Yeah.
and I ended up not taking him and taking a new kid. And when I got back and was looking for him, I never could find him again, right? And his life took a totally different. He needed whether he played or not, he needed the traveling team more than anybody on the team.
Yeah.
And he went down the wrong path, right? And I felt like, if I had kept him there, right? Because his grandmother she always stuck out in my mind because from practice, I used to drop him off, make sure he get in the house, go up to the door, say, Mr. Moore, I want to thank you, for taking care of my grandson, and it was just a bad decision on my part.
Yeah.
And as he got older and he finally got out of whatever trouble he was in, I had to literally go and apologize. I sat him down in you know, and just said, you know, I want to really apologize, man, because you should have been on that team. You should have been traveling with us. You know, I really wanted to apologize because you, like you said, you can't make up, you know, for that decision that you made that's life changing. You know, the baby shower, you know, the sweet 16, the marriage.
The
Yeah.
marriage, the graduation, the funeral. I mean, no matter what it is, I had to take it. And you know, I in double door, I've had a repass in one room while a baby shower in another room. So I'm living life and death two in between walls. You know what I mean? I'm going from
Yeah.
room to room, and you know, so it's different emotions, it's different things. So I mean, I love it. I love the business I'm in. I love that my kids is involved. All of my kids work at the buildings and work in the business. Um, you know, so I love it, but it's a lot of responsibilities and it's a lot of work. I mean, like I said, I leave the house on a Friday at so from we had events from Thursday. So from Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon when I got home, my kids haven't seen me till a couple hours ago, like I said. So we're moving. Now, it's not so bad that they come to the building when they see me and they got older now. When they was younger, they could come and work with us and stay in the building all day. But now they're older and got their own lives. They don't want to hang out with me as much. But but yeah, it's a great thing, man. I mean, I love the business. I love business. Internet has changed business a lot. I started when before the internet, so I think I would tell all my entrepreneurs: don't think you can course your way through business. Don't think you can seminar your way through business. You have to live business and perform business to for business to work. There's no course that you can take that's going to make you a great business person. You have to live that life and want to be a great business person.
Yeah, you got to go through the experience.
You got to go through the experience.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people the two things for me in being an event planner. I don't I don't drink and be able to control yourself around a lot of different people, women as a single man, because that's all we're around as an event planner, right? So if you don't have those two things in check as an event planner, there's no who cares how smart you are, who cares because you're at open bars all the time. So if you have a problem, how can they teach you that in business school? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
No,
you
I
got
understand what you.
you got to go through it to understand certain things.
Yeah. As we digress for a moment, talk about there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Number one, you were, I think, the president
Yeah, the
of
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce. Talk about that experience dealing with because I was at a few of your events, and
There was good events, right?
they were good events, and I met, and the thing is it's important to network, right?
Yeah.
Have places that you could network, and the boys in a place like the Boys and Girls Club, they needed entrepreneurs, they needed business people to want to be a part of, particular organizations. I met Fred Swam
Yeah.
from American Christmas at the event, and he became a board member of the club. I met several other people that through your events, through the and the thing is, the Chamber of Commerce. When I was a little kid at the Boys Club, we used to visit these places, Kiwanis, put on our little jackets and go represent the Boys and Girls Club, talk about the programs and stuff like that. And then becoming an adult, right? Now I'm back at the chamber. When I first came home, and there were other people that were involved in it, and coming up talking about, the club, your organization, and why local businesses should support. And then you had it. What do you think is, the toughest part? I mean, why we can't, even today, I don't even know if there's a chamber. And what was the toughest
I'm a
part
hard act
about?
to follow. I'm a hard act to follow, so that's tough right there. But real quick, so you helped me meet my wife because of what you did, and I helped you guys meet Fred because of what I did. So you see how the world works?
Yeah, yeah,
You see
yeah,
how it works? Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Um, listen. First, the first question of how did I love the chamber. So I volunteered. So all right. So I'm gonna take it back for all these business people and people who want to get in business. My success is due to volunteering and understanding the climate. I didn't get paid as a chamber president, but the knowledge that I have and the people that I was around was priceless because I was able to sit with Fred. And because I was chamber president, I got into doors I may not have got into if I was just Dwayne Brown. So being Dwayne Brown, the chamber president, took on a whole different lifestyle and a whole different opportunities to make it happen. And I just seized the moment on that. And I was from Mount Vernon, so and I had the swagger or the style to combine the two worlds. And I didn't become a chamber president trying to be somebody. I wasn't trying to be a white professional man. I wasn't trying to be say I was a this worldly person. I went in being Dwayne. I think people respected that, and with me doing that, it allowed them to open their doors up to me. I wasn't trying to be phony and something that I wasn't. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
was helping them because as much as Fred or these business people may have had more than me, they didn't have the city of Mount Vernon I had. I had what they needed was to meet the people. They didn't know how to meet the people. They didn't know how to meet at Lowe's Mall. They didn't know how to meet City Hall. So when I was president, I created that lane because I knew the history of the chamber and I knew what the role of the chamber is supposed to be. It's hard for a young person or a person that's doing business to run a chamber because it's a non-paying job and even for me, I probably was sharing resources with people. You know how many people I introduced to Fred that if I wasn't chamber president, I would have never introduced him to?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's giving away my resource. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as a chamber president coming up, it was rough on me because I had a I couldn't keep all the resources for Dwayne. I had to share them with everybody because I was the chamber president. So that was hurting my business a little bit because I was sharing my resources when I wasn't in position to. So I think that's what's hard about the chamber. And now, business people. Uh, I'm a business person, and I don't want nobody to get. You can't give me advice if you haven't gone through what I've gone through, or you can't lead me if you not have a business. So you just can't have titles no more. You need to. People want to know that you at least going through what I'm going through. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because the boys and I wasn't the owner of the Boys and Girls Club, although I say it's my Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
And I had to know the integral parts of how the Boys and Girls Club work, and that you have to bring the club back from the depths of
Yeah.
all the negative stuff that was going on, and you have to not pay attention to that and stay focused on the vision and the plan you have for the organization and try to build it to the best of your ability. And so I understand what you're saying, and I know how difficult it is when you're dealing with people who really is about bottom line is, what am I going to get out of this?
Yeah. What am I going to get out of this? So,
Yeah,
like,
you know.
Dwayne, what I get out of this? You know what I mean? So. But they saw that I was committed. They saw that this guy got a business and he's there, so let me get involved. And and I knew for the community that me introducing Fred and other business people to the business community, yeah, I may suffer in the beginning, but I'm a win in the end, and I won in the end. Me and Fred is still good friends. And to me, I'm proud when I see the tree in front of City Hall, and I know that conversations I've had years ago is it's not 100% the reason why that tree is in the city, but I'm a good 20% of why there's a lot of American Christmas trees around Mount Vernon.
Yeah,
You know what I
definitely.
mean? And preceding a lot of mayors. So I know they do all the what they do, but you know,
Oh yeah, they no nobody would have the relationship if you weren't doing the council,
no
the
one will
chamber.
have the relationship. And I thank you for saying that. I mean, and I'm not saying no one will have it, but I made the relationships a little bit easier because I brought Fred around Mount Vernon, introduced him to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
and
No,
and
no.
and and and, and asked him to support Mount Vernon in the way. Quietly asked him to support, quietly asked him to hire, quietly, gave my blessing and say, yeah, that's a top notch organization. I think they deserve everything you're giving them right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, definitely. No, I know what you mean. As we come to a close, I want to talk about some community things you've been involved in. I mean, a few things that you've been passionate about. Of course, baseball being one of them, right? Talk about a few of the community things that you've been passionate about, and I don't know that you could be passionate about it. The question is whether or not we have been able to get the results that we've been looking for, in terms of the things that you might be passionate about.
Well, baseball, I help run the baseball, but sometimes history, people can't gotta get out of our own way. Like I tell people when I ran my brand, everything that I hear from baseball when I'm trying to run it is what it used to be like. And I say to people, well, black people used to never be able to play in Major League Baseball. So we continue to keep on talking about what it used to be like. It's not fair to the kids who's growing up now. You're hurting the kids who need to play now because everyone's complaining about what it used to be like. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, because I was probably one of them. I mean, because I was a little kid,
Yeah.
right, who played in the junior minor, and little league in baseball. As a little kid, with Lombardi's and all these other name companies and stuff that were underwriters for these teams and stuff like that. So I remember what it was, and I also remember when I first moved back. My wife and I first moved back to Mount Vernon, and I became the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club, and I was part of the Kiwanis Club, and I was a part of this, and I was part of that. But I also managed a, a junior minor league team, and I brought in guys who used to play baseball, who went to the Boys and Girls Club, who loved baseball, and I had them manage with me, right? And I don't know, you met Greg Rogers and
Yeah, I mean, those
Eddie
people don't want.
Johnson.
Yeah,
You,
when I was
and,
there, those same people. But the key to that is, and people don't want to have a conversation. So if you know how many times I went to the field and if there's 100 kids down there, 75 are just women.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean? So people don't want to. There's a reason why it's messed up. Not because of the park, not because of Mount Vernon, not because of no one. Yeah, there's not enough fathers down there with their kids. Right? That's the issue. Um, Sports has changed dramatically. You know that there's so many one sports kids now that getting kids to play multiple sports. I'm sure you played multiple sports growing up. Today, you know that you got to pick a sport, right?
yeah.
Um, so the dynamics have changed so much. But the one thing I want people to know is like black, black Americans have pioneered baseball in the last 40, 50 years, and we have lost that, and we need to get it back somewhat. So my thing is to tell people I can't bring back the 30. Well, I stepped down a little bit because of just my business has grown, so I had to focus more on business. But I tell people whoever's running it, you got to give them a chance to run it today and not run it against the past. Run it with what we have in the future, run it with what's presented today, and stop letting that person have to always compete of what was going on in the past, because you know we can't bring it back, so we just got to focus on what goes on today. So it's not a city hall issue, it's not a no one cares or no one's down there with the kids anymore. There's not enough fathers down there. When you listen, when you walk to a park and you teaching a father and son how to play baseball for the first time, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You coaching the father how to hit and the son at the same time. The father's 40 years old, 30 years old, and you like, whoa. So, you know what I mean? There's so much, but I'm confident. Lamont runs it pretty much day to day. Lamont, I forgot Lamont's last name, but Fat Dog we call him. But Lamont runs it on a day-to-day basis with Coach Rick and the city of Mount Vernon. I help out when I can. Sponsorships aren't the same. I can every businesses don't engage in the city like they used to because they aren't from here. They just do business here. So sponsorship is light. Um, so there's some factors, but there's a group of kids. I tell any kids, or any parent in Mount Vernon who love baseball, if you want your kid to play baseball, Ernie's from the high school is gonna have a great program. Lamont has a great program, but just don't go down there complaining about what it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, because the world has changed and we have to adapt to it and make it better. It's not fair to the kid today to always have to live in the shadow of what was 20 years ago.
Well, yeah, and there's interesting. Mr. Reginald Howard, I had him on the podcast probably about 3 weeks ago. He played. He was a ball boy for the Negro League. He played in the Negro League with some of the great players. He remembers Satchel Paige and all those guys back in the day. He was in his highlight that I did of him. He was telling people, we always talking about 600 years ago, 300 years ago, we need more black baseball players today. That's the thing we need to be concentrating on, because there's not many black baseball players in the major leagues, and
there's less than 5%
in the major leagues.
Yeah,
and because we're not playing baseball.
Because we're not playing baseball, we gave up as a community for some reason. And I'm not talking about Mount Vernon. I'm talking the black community gave up on baseball, and I understand it. Basketball became ultra popular from when where basketball is now. When you started, I know you look back on it like, yo, I can't believe this right now. So basketball has became super popular. Football has became super, and it's an economic thing. Baseball is the longest sport to make a fortune, where black athletes' parents need them to make money sooner to help the family, if that makes sense, right? So, baseball, you may not get into a contract till you're 25, where basketball, you could be rich at 19.
Right.
And that's more enticing to a father, to a mother, than a baseball coach saying, your son, when he's turned 26, could be a millionaire. You know what I mean? When the football coach is saying, at 18, he's gone. He out of here now.
Yeah, but I mean, the other thing is that for everybody to believe that this stuff is instant, and then when you look at the data the data in terms of who's going to make it, who's going to make it, who's going to be there longer, rather than seeing sports as a tool, as an instrument to build men and women, and around integrity, for the game, and then also the love for the game. I mean, and to tell your kid it's okay that you could be judge, and not be LeBron. I mean, it's and you have to have people come back. Like the thing that sparked us in terms of the legacy of basketball is the many guys that came back. The guys that came back volunteered, and that's why I went back for Eddie Johnson and Greg Rogers, because they played on the baseball team.
Yeah.
Right? They played basketball at the boys club, but when they got to high school, man, they weren't as good. And then you have to be able to say, look, hey, man, you're all right at basketball, but you probably be a better track runner. You probably be a better baseball player, and being able to do all those things, at the club, being able to play baseball, football, and try different things, until you find whatever your niche is, So
basketball, those are the stars though. Everybody, even you have to be an ultra star in football and baseball. Basketball, you could just be on a team and you a star. You know what I mean? So
well, yeah, just sitting on it's the legacy. You you put the uniform and you already good.
You're already good. So it's hard to entice kids from nightlife, but it's not a Mount Vernon thing. It's a real Black American thing. So it's not like I said, I don't. It's not Mount Vernon black kids aren't playing baseball. Enough black kids aren't playing baseball, and that's a fact because you can just look at on a major. I mean, look now in the Yankees. I don't think there's Judge is the only black, and he's is the only black person on the Yankees.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
When I grew up, there was Claudell Washington, Dave Winfield, Ricky Henderson,
Mickey
Willie
Rivers.
Randolph, Don Baylor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It was, yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Was it Reggie? Was Reggie? You still Reggie Jackson?
Reggie Jackson.
Who used to steal the bases all the time? Ricky Henderson.
That's Ricky Henderson.
Ricky
But
Henderson. Yeah.
so it was a lot of it was so many blacks and all over baseball. So that's the one thing, and just helping out the community. I came from the community. I convinced my family to open up a business in Mount Vernon. I believe in the city, and just I'm just happy to be from Mount Vernon. I don't live there anymore. But I mean, I have a business there, so I think that's just as good as living there. To tell you the truth,
Oh, yeah, you probably living there.
yeah, I probably live there, and and I tell people, business people pay the same kind of taxes and bills that homeowners pay. So don't think that because a person don't live there, they don't have the same effects or care. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people that support Mount Vernon don't live here.
Yeah,
They used to live here, but now they give back to home. Right? They get
yeah,
back to
exactly.
they get back to it. So, man, I want to say, look like we lost. I don't know. Really look like we lost Dwayne. Maybe he'll come back. But man, the great conversation. I mean, around entrepreneurship, around community, community involvement, around family, around faith and education, and how important that is, and see the progress of many people that have been on the blueprint for years now. You could see people at different levels, whether they found their sphere of influence, whether it's in religion, the church, whether it's in education, whether it's in family and health, whether it's government and law, politics, whether it's in media, whether it's in sports, arts, and entertainment, or business and finances. We were talking a lot about tonight in that sphere of entrepreneurship and business. Man, that was just powerful, man. When individuals come on the show, it's just powerful to see where people's lives have come and how they've grown. And I want to thank Dwayne Brown, and I'm glad I had an opportunity to get him on, finally, get him on the blueprint. And I don't know whether we're going to get him back or not, but he goes right there. Yeah, he just came back.
yeah. My phone, my power
Your power just went out. Yeah.
went out on me.
Yeah, but I want to say, I was just telling everybody out there, man, real quick, before we go, we want to acknowledge we lost a very powerful woman. For me, we lost a great friend, a great mentor, and Miss Andrea Brown DeBose. She was amazing when I came back to the Boys and Girls Club. She was there working in the game room and working all around the Boys and Girls Club. Helped to start cheerleading and all that different stuff at the Boys and Girls Club, and ran the Collin Island Daycare for many years, probably over 30 years. Just imagine how many young people that she's mentored, how many young people that she's touched, especially when you have a daycare, because you're talking about babies, and seeing them grow up in your daycare and then after school program. And she's just a legend. And we lost her the other day. I'm thankful that we got a chance to see her recently. And she's going to be totally missed. We love Miss Brown. For me, when I came back to the Boys and Girls Club, the people that kept the club open, I have to say this before I get off. When I first came back to the club, it was James Jones, Joseph Coleman,
Coleman.
right? Yep, Joseph Coleman and Miss Andrea Brown and Calvin Jones, CJ, right? Now CJ's no longer here, and he wasn't part of the big three at the time, but Mr. Jones, Mr. Coleman, who's no longer with us, and now Miss Brown is no longer with us. Let me say this: they are the reason why the Boys and Girls Club of Mount Vernon exists right now. Because for 2 years, they were going to shut the Southside Boys Club down, right? And they worked for 2 years without pay until the Boys Club stabilized, right? And if it wasn't for them, the Boys and Girls Club would not be open right now. So we salute Mr. Coleman, we salute Mr. Brown. We salute Miss Brown, we salute Mr. Coleman, we salute Mr. Jones, both Joneses, CJ and James Jones, man. Man, you guys will always be remembered. And as we move forward, we will make sure, hey, that people know that the Boys and Girls Club of Mount Vernon exists because you guys gave your life and your time for it. So Dwayne, man, I want to say thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank
Ms.
you for
Brown,
coming
we don't
on.
think about Miss Brown. Miss Brown was a special. I met Miss Brown at the Boys and Girls Club, and then she was Mr. Burke's. I want to say before you got to Mr. Burke's, Mrs. Brown was your first. So if you got past, she couldn't help you. You got to see Mr. Burke. You know you was DSP for a few days, but so she was you knew because she protected you. So if she can send you back to class without getting you in trouble, she would. So you know if she had to send you into his office, it was over for you for the next 5 days.
That's
So
right.
yeah, you was done. That was a pre DSP. If she couldn't help you, you know you was over. You was over. But yeah, but I'm gonna miss her. I miss her already. You know, I know she just had a birthday party at last year that we celebrated. So I'm glad we was able to do that.
Yeah.
And she was able to feel that love and that energy, and I feel my prayers to her, condolences to her family, Willette and all her sisters and family.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot, man, for coming on, man.
Man,
And
I appreciate it, man. I hope somebody learns something, get some inspiration. The only way to be great is to go be great. There's no secret to greatness. There's no shortcut to greatness. You just got to go do it. And and for you continue to be great. Thank you for leaving. Being around you is somewhat intimidating because you're like a great standard. You like what we all try to be growing up, and it's always an honor to be around you and just your humbleness and your family, man. Like, so you really like carry a whole generation on your back and you don't even know it. So thank you for leading that way.
I appreciate you, man.
And like I said, you're my number one guy, because if you didn't if Gordon didn't get to the NBA, I wasn't going to meet Renee. So I'll tell you that right now. You are my guy forever.
Oh, man, thanks. And tell your wife and family I said hello, man. And
Right.
God bless you, man.
All right, you too. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy New Year. Have a great year.
Yes, sir. That's Dwayne Brown. And I want to say thank you guys for each and every week for your support and for your love. Look forward to seeing you next week as we do on Saturday the 23rd from 9 to 10:30. We're going to be doing a special Christmas podcast. I love you guys. And I say it each and every week, right? If God allow you to wake up tomorrow, make tomorrow your masterpiece. God bless you and good night.
Peace.
Yeah.